Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good day to everyone. Welcome to our video on the examples and on the teaching of norm of a vector. Alright, so we start off with a very simple explanation on what is the norm of a vector. Usually, we know that a vector looks like a line with an arrow head at the end of it. Now this is, for example, a vector u. Right. So this vector u has maybe, for example, 2, 3, where 2 is usually or equivalently written as 2i, and then 3 is given by 3j. So this particular vector has certain length to it, in which that we cannot see what exactly is the length of this vector from our naked eye. Hence, there exists a formula in which we can measure what is the length or the norm of this particular vector, and that is given by a set of, say that we have this one is a and this one is given as a b, so it will be a square plus with b square. That will be the norm of this particular vector, and it is written as a straight line encompassing left and right side of the vector. Okay, so from this particular formula, it is easily can be seen that, how we can measure the norm or the length of a certain particular vector. Now, how are we going to use this particular formula? Looking at the right side of the screen, we have two examples over here. Let's go over to the example number 1. So the example number 1, given that if we have a vector which is a 3 given by a 3, 4, 3 in the x-axis direction, and then 4 is in the y-axis direction, or usually 3i plus 4j. Now, to measure the norm of this particular vector, say that we give this one the name vector v. So the length of the vector v, or the norm of this particular vector, is given by the set of 3 square plus 4 square, and that one will be a set of 9 plus 16, which is 25, and this one is given by 5 unit. Usually, if we see a square root, we have the tendency of putting a plus minus at the front, but since this is a length, and then length is actually a scalar value, so we only accept this value in the form of a positive numbers. It can be 5 point any numbers. It is still under the real number, but a real positive numbers. Okay, let's take a look at the second example, where we have two coordinates given as in the question. Now, each of these coordinates is actually a position vector given by from the point of origin, which is O, or P in this particular case. So this is for the point P, and then for Q, it will look something like this. Okay, 6, 6. Okay, this one is actually a sharp bracket at the end. So if we would like to find what is the length or the norm of a vector PQ, for example. So firstly, we will need to find what is PQ, and then by using the vector addition, okay, PQ is given by PO plus with OQ, and that is basically the negative of OP plus with OQ, and we should be able to get 6, 8 over here, and hence the norm or the length of vector PQ will be given by set of 6 square plus h square, and then this one is equivalent to a set 100, so the final answer would be 10 unit. So that will be the very short video on the example and the concepts of the norm of a vector. Thank you and good luck with your assessment.